Marcus Rashford is one of football's most debated players. Some fans call him world-class, even comparing him to Mbappe. Others say he's inconsistent, overrated, just another English hype player. But now, Barcelona wants him. Is this a brilliant move, or another Deco disaster? Let's find out. If you've watched Hansi Flick's Barcelona, it's hard to argue that another forward was their top priority. After all, Barca led both La Liga and the Champions League in goals scored. Scoring goals isn't their issue, winning trophies is. And to do that, you need players like Rashford, versatile, dynamic, and capable of changing the game. He can operate as a striker when Lewandowski needs rest. That's huge, because Rashford is nearly 10 years younger than Lewa, and he offers flexibility all across the front line. He links up well with midfielders and has a lethal eye for goal. Think of him as an English version of Ferran Torres, but sharper, more aggressive, and far more dangerous on the wing. Rashford is the kind of player who can take a game by the scruff of the neck. He can produce magic, beat a defender, cut inside, and curl one into the top corner from almost anywhere. While he can play in multiple positions, his most devastating form has always come from the left wing. That's where he made his mark at Manchester United. He may seem like a veteran, especially compared to some of Barca's teenage stars, but he's actually around the same age as Rafinha. It just feels like he's older because he's been in the spotlight for so long. In fact, Rashford was identified as a top talent as far back as 2014, when The Guardian named him United's most promising youth player in their next generation list. He was training with the senior squad at 16, under David Moyes, no less. He was labeled a generational talent. But his emergence came during one of the darkest periods in United's history. Let's rewind to February 2016. Manchester United were in crisis mode, 13 first-team players out injured. It was a nightmare scenario, with a huge Europa League fixture looming and barely any attackers available. That's when a teenager named Marcus Rashford got his call. Right before kickoff, Anthony Martial picked up an injury in the warm-up. Rashford, just 18 years old, was thrown into the starting lineup at the last minute. There was no time to overthink it, no pressure build-up, just instinct. He delivered. 2 goals in the second half. United won 5-1. Just like that, Rashford became the youngest player in club history to score in European competition, breaking a record once held by George Best. And he wasn't done. 3 days later, Arsenal visited Old Trafford. Rashford started again, scored twice again, and even assisted the third in a thrilling 3-2 win over one of United's fiercest rivals. 2 matches, 4 goals, 1 assist. The football world took notice. Louis van Gaal, United's manager at the time, called it fantastic, unbelievable. Marcus Rashford had arrived. Next up, the Manchester derby. City versus United, blue versus red. He was just 18, but it didn't matter. Rashford danced past the defense and buried the winner, his third in a week. It was United's first away win at the Etihad in 4 years. Rashford also became the youngest scorer in the fixture's Premier League history, breaking Wayne Rooney's record. Week after week, he kept proving he wasn't just a one-hit wonder. A stunning strike against West Ham in the FA Cup, another clutch goal versus Aston Villa. And then came the FA Cup final at Wembley, leading the line for United. They won. He lifted his first trophy. All of this, just 3 months after making his debut. By the end of that debut season, Rashford had 8 goals in 18 matches. He was named United's Jimmy Murphy Young Player of the Year and signed a new deal. Everyone at the club knew this was a star in the making. And make no mistake, that Rashford still exists. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This was ages ago, back when Trump was still in his first presidency. But here's the truth. Manchester United has become a graveyard for talent. Players leave and instantly look better elsewhere. So for Rashford to shine through that chaos says a lot about his quality. Between 2017 and 2019, Rashford wasn't just becoming a United star. He was turning into one of the most exciting young players in world football. He started the season with a 4-0 demolition of West Ham, assisting Lukaku's opening goal. 1 week later, he came off the bench to score the winner against Leicester. Then came his Champions League debut, and yes, he scored again. That made it 6 different competitions where Rashford had scored on his debut. People forget this. It feels like a lifetime ago, And honestly, it kind of is. But Marcus Rashford has always been a special player, and he wasn't done then, either. He bagged 2 goals and an assist in the EFL Cup against West Brom. He scored the decider against CSKA Moscow to seal United's place in the Champions League knockouts. By October of that year, he had already tallied 12 goal contributions in just 16 appearances. So when he finished third in the Golden Boy award, behind only Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele, no one was surprised. He was the future, and for a while it looked like no one could stop him. They were holding it down. For a lot of fans, Marcus Rashford was the only consistent spark in a Manchester United team still lost in the post-Ferguson fog. But then came a new hurdle. In January 2018, United brought in Alexis Sanchez, a superstar who had torn it up at Arsenal. Suddenly, there were questions. Would Rashford lose his minutes? Would he get pushed aside? Well, he had an answer. On March 10, 2018, in a massive clash against Liverpool, Rashford stepped up and scored both goals in a 2-1 win. It was his first Premier League start of the year, and he made it count. Then came an assist in the Champions League against Sevilla, and a winning goal on the final day of the league season versus Watford. Even when deployed out of position, Rashford still delivered. That's what I meant when I said he's versatile, a trait that could be priceless at a club like Barca. That same season, Mourinho trusted him. Rashford featured in nearly every match. And then came a symbolic moment. Before the 2018-2019 campaign kicked off, he was handed the iconic number 10 shirt. Rooney, Van Nistelrooy, Sheringham, legends had worn it. For a local academy graduate, it was a massive sign of trust. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over in December 2018, Rashford's rise hit overdrive. He scored just 3 minutes into Ole's debut match against Cardiff, then followed up with goals against Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Spurs. But it wasn't just about scoring. He was running games, playing with swagger and confidence. Ole called him a different class and claimed he was becoming one of the best forwards in world football. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. His pace, power, shooting technique, and his ability to dribble and make plays at top speed made him stand out. By then, Rashford had racked up 150 appearances for United. He scored in 4 consecutive league games, something only Rooney and Ronaldo had done at his age. He also became the youngest player in club history to achieve that. In January 2019 alone, he won Goal of the Month and was named Premier League Player of the Month, the first United player to earn that title in more than 2 years. But the real headline moment? That magical night in Paris. March 6, 2019. Champions League round of 16. United were down 2-0 from the first leg against PSG. Everyone counted them out. They had injuries. Their squad was thin. But Rashford wasn't fazed. He set up a goal and then, in the dying moments, scored a dramatic penalty to win the tie. Think about that. His first ever competitive penalty in that high-pressure situation. Score, and United go through. Miss, and they're out. He stepped up at just 21 years old and converted it. That made him the second youngest United player to score 9 goals in European competitions, only behind Rooney. Ole called him fearless. And that night, Rashford was fearless. He outshone Mbappe on one of the biggest stages. Could we see that same fire in a Barca jersey one day? Through the coaching chaos, the endless rebuilds, Rashford remained the heartbeat of the club. He wasn't just talented. He was the one fans looked to for something special. He became United's Le Mans, the one carrying the weight, lifting the mood, giving fans hope. He looked destined to become a legend at Old Trafford. Now you might say, okay, but this is all old news. Maybe. But let's jump to 2023. That year, Rashford won United's Player of the Year. And I know, some people might laugh and say, so what? It's just United. But this wasn't just a sympathy vote. Just a year earlier, under Ralph Rangnick, Rashford had hit rock bottom. Only 2 goals that season, benched for the final games, looking like a shadow of himself. Transfer rumors were swirling. People said maybe it was time to move on. But then came Erik ten Hag. Under the Dutchman, Rashford exploded. He ended the 2023 season with over 30 goals across all competitions, his best ever tally, and the highest single-season total by a United player since Sir Alex left. Not only that, only one of those goals was a penalty. The rest came from open play. No stat padding, no tap-ins, just honest, top-tier football. For a club that had long struggled to find consistent firepower, Marcus Rashford emerged as the spark they desperately needed. He wasn't just Manchester United's top scorer, he was their entire attack. After the World Cup, something changed. Rashford shifted into a higher group. Between late December and spring, he bagged 17 goals in just 19 games. He lit up the Camp Nou, showed his clutch gene against Wolves, and sealed the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. For a while, he was the hottest player in Europe. His now iconic finger-to-the-head celebration went viral, symbolizing the confidence and mental clarity he was playing with. He wasn't just scoring, he was leading. Staying injury-free played a huge role. After years of playing through pain, Rashford finally enjoyed a stretch where his body held up. He featured more than anyone else in the squad, aside from De Gea and Bruno. That consistency helped him build rhythm, and from there, he delivered magic. Ten Hag's system gave him freedom, and he looked reborn. Cutting in from the left, scoring wonder goals, it was vintage Rashford. And even during the 2025 season, that quality never truly left him. Under new coach Ruben Amorim, Rashford looked sharp early on. He was scoring again. The Portuguese system seemed tailor-made to unlock him. But the problem wasn't football, it was discipline. Amorim reportedly felt Rashford lacked the work ethic in training. Now, we don't know the full story. It's unclear who was right. But if Rashford truly had attitude issues, Unai Emery wouldn't have pushed to bring him to Aston Villa. It only took one moment, one swift passage of play, for him to remind everyone what he's capable of. A curling ball from Lucas Digne, a cool, clinical finish from Rashford. And just like that, his first goal in Villa colours felt like a breath of fresh air. Emery saw what Deco saw at Barcelona, a forward with pace, movement, and deadly instincts. Look at his finish against Preston. No tricks, no flair, just sharp movement and a composed strike into the bottom corner. It was the type of goal that comes from years at the highest level. His body still knows what to do when the moment comes. Then came the PSG game, and Rashford was Villa's biggest threat. He tormented their defense all night. A team stacked with elite talent couldn't handle him. That's the kind of danger he brings. As a left winger under Hansi Flick, there's no reason Rashford can't be reborn again. Flick has the magic touch. Players improve under him. Ask Ferran Torres. Ask Eric Garcia. Even Lewandowski looked finished at times, but Flick revived him. Why not Rashford? He's a low-risk, high-reward signing. He's on reduced wages. He adds depth. On the left wing, he allows Rafinha to move inside and thrive in that free-roaming Olmo role. He can also spell Yamal on the right when the youngster needs rest. Rashford has the ability to beat fenders and score from distance. Yes, he's most dangerous cutting in from the left, but he's caused havoc from the right too. He's even delivered numbers as a central striker. What makes him valuable is his ability to create moments of magic, something this Barca squad doesn't have in abundance. Yamal can do it. Rafinha, when given freedom, can do it. Olmo too, though injuries make him unreliable. Rashford, he brings that unpredictability with minimal downside. He even accepted a pay cut just to join. If it doesn't work, no harm done. He's still a strong rotation piece. Barcelona don't need him to carry the season. They just need someone reliable off the bench. In a long season filled with tight schedules, having a player like Rashford who can inject pace and quality at any moment is a luxury. He's the kind of weapon you need when facing the deep defensive lines of the Liga. Whether starting or coming on late, Rashford can change games. Imagine this: Alejandro Baldo and Marcus Rashford charging down the left flank at Trent Alexander-Arnold. Too much speed, too much power. All Rashford needs now is to stay focused, follow Flick's instructions, and work hard. The talent is there, and if anyone can reignite it, it's the German manager. And for anyone still doubting Rashford, just remember, even Fermin Lopez was doubted by Barca fans. If you want to see how he turned his career around, you need to watch this video right here.